GitHub Copilot for Azure is a VS Code extension that you can install from the VS Code Marketplace. When you do, it will install the new Azure MCP server extension as well. Together, they provide a great set of tools for you and Copilot to use when creating, deploying, and troubleshooting applications on Azure. For this demo, I'm also using the GitHub pull request extension, which is available in the Marketplace as well. Here in Copilot Ask mode, the @Azure chat participant will answer your informational questions about Azure using the most up-to-date information from Microsoft Learn. In agent mode, Copilot acts as an autonomous agent to generate code and complete tasks. The tools provided by GitHub Copilot for Azure and the Azure MCP bring your Azure context and subscription information into agent mode where they can be used by Copilot. When we ask it to create a blob storage account for us, it will use the Azure Best Practices tools and Bicep tools to make sure it's done right. Once Copilot creates the infrastructure as code for the storage account, we can ask it to deploy the infrastructure. Copilot will use various tools to validate the deployment, run a pre-provision test, provision the resources, and even validate that the resources are working properly when it's done. Next, Copilot will help me create a Python application that allows me to upload images to the storage account I just created. We can see Copilot invoking our Azure CodeGen best practices tools, so the code will use the latest Azure SDK libraries and security best practices like managed identity. Like every good developer, we're going to run and test the app locally before deploying it to the cloud. Good thing we did. It looks like we have a problem with our role-based access control. I'll take a screenshot and ask Copilot to help fix it. Copilot uses a variety of Azure CLI commands and tools to diagnose and fix the issue. Now we're ready to deploy. When I ask Copilot to deploy my app to Azure, it will again use the Azure Agent tools from GitHub Copilot for Azure and the Azure MCP to complete the task. One of the most important deployment tools we have is the deployment best practices. Here you can see Copilot using it to analyze this project and ensure a successful deployment. With the application deployed, I'm going to test it by uploading another picture. When I try to view the picture in the gallery, the preview images are not working. It looks like we have another issue. Since I've created a GitHub repo for my project, I can use the GitHub Copilot coding agent to help me fix the issue. I'm going to take a screenshot and ask Copilot for help again, but this time I'm going to use the Delegate to Coding Agent button, and it can work on the problem while I'm away. The coding agent creates a pull request in the GitHub repo that we can see right here in VS Code. When the coding agent is done fixing the issue, we can review and merge the pull request. Then we can sync the changes to our local repo. Now we can deploy the fixed version of our application and confirm that the gallery is working properly. I even asked Copilot to hide the folders that were visible in the gallery. Now you can see how GitHub Copilot for Azure and the Azure MCP make it super easy for developers to build applications for Azure. What are you going to build?